Ugh, ads are such poop. Subscribe to Acast Plus now to skip ads and more for just $1 a month. Click the link in our show notes to learn how. And hey, we're on Patreon too. Your support helps cover the cost of running a podcast. For $2 a month, you can get early access to all our episodes ad-free, plus bonus episodes exclusive to Patreon subscribers only. Visit patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse to sign up now. Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Yeah, Hezekiah was good, and then he was bad, and then he was good again. But the important bit is he got to be buried in the good cemetery.
That is important.
I mean, that says it all right there.
And also, he was at war with Sennacherib, and Sennacherib went wee all the way home, and then his son stabbed him.
Yeah, he didn't fare very well.
Yeah, he's so bad.
Yeah, so that was the gist of 2 Chronicles chapter 32.
Sure as fuck was.
And today we're going to be reading
2 Chronicles chapter 33.
Let's go do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, 2 Chronicles chapter 33.
Okay.
But before I begin that, I have to remind you that Hezekiah died, and then his son Manasseh took over.
Right.
Okay? So, Manasseh was 12 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem. Hold on to your butts. How long do you think that he reigned?
I'm going to go 16 years.
More.
35 years.
More!
50 years?
55 motherfucking years
Holy
this kid
shit.
reigned.
He better be the best of the best.
I bet he's not. Oh, look. Next sentence will tell us.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
He did evil in the eyes of the Lord.
What the fuck? He's reigned like one of the longest terms and he did evil? What?
He did evil. Following the detestable practices of the nations the Lord had driven out before the Israelites.
That's crazy.
Where'd he learn that from? Not his dad. His dad was awesome.
Yeah.
Hezekiah should be like on t-shirts. Like, he was so fucking awesome. He was better than David. For real, for real.
Well, to be fair, his dad only lived till he was 12. So, like, maybe he had somebody take over that was like, no, we're going to teach you the bad ways now.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. He rebuilt the high places his father Hezekiah had demolished. Do you know what the high places were? We covered this briefly.
Assuming they were temples on mountains or something.
Yeah, and they were kind of like the Tower of Babel kind of thing, where it was places that, they were not built by Levites. They were built by whoever wanted to do these altars.
Got it.
And pray to whatever gods. But they were built in high places, like on hills.
Trying to reach the gods.
Trying to reach the gods. Yeah, because they thought the higher they are, then the better God will hear them.
I mean, it makes some sense in the,
if you're going to be
simplest
stupid and
of terms.
simple, yeah.
Right?
If you're going to be an ignoramus, it makes perfectly logical sense.
Right.
Yeah. So he rebuilt all those high places. He also erected altars. He said erected. Altars to the Baals.
Baals?
You know, all of them,
the
guys.
Baals.
It says the Baals.
Baals.
Well, it says the Baals.
Okay.
And he made Asherah poles.
Wow.
He bowed down to all the starry hosts and worshipped them.
And apparently God was just like, whatever.
Starry, starry,
Didn't
sky.
give this guy, like, leprosy, didn't do any of that shit.
None of that.
He reigned for 55 fucking years.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
He built altars in the temple of the Lord, of which the Lord had said, my name will remain in Jerusalem forever.
Mm-hmm.
In both courts of the temple of the Lord, he built altars to all the starry hosts. I really like that phrasing.
Starry hosts.
Starry hosts.
Yeah.
He sacrificed his children in the fire
of
the valley of Ben Hinnom, practiced divination and witchcraft, sought omens, and consulted mediums and spiritists.
And this guy was about as bad as they come.
Mm-hmm. He did much evil in the eyes of the Lord, arousing his anger.
That's what they're saying here.
He erected and aroused. He took the image he had made and put it in God's temple, of which God had said to David and to his son Solomon, in this temple and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, I'll put my name forever. I'll not again make the feet of the Israelites leave the land I assigned to your ancestors, if only they will be careful to do everything I commanded them concerning all the laws, decrees, regulations given through Moses.
Small print.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, no, I know. Disclaimer, small print, whatever.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was part of, like, I was just reading it just then.
No, I know. But It sounded like a fucking disclaimer.
It did.
Yeah.
But Manasseh led Judah and the people of Jerusalem astray, so that they did more evil than the nations the Lord had destroyed before the Israelites. They were the evilest evil that ever evil.
Right?
The Lord spoke to Manasseh and his people, but they paid no fucking attention. So then he did not speak loud enough.
Right, and he didn't, like, he's punished people in the past, like, with death and things that were close to death.
Yeah.
And yet, this guy reigned, I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep saying it. He reigned for 55 fucking years.
Do something.
What's he doing here?
Or as Britney Spears said, why don't you do something?
Because again, the people don't give a shit. They're following their king.
Yeah.
Because he's the king.
He's the king.
Right.
And king's gonna king, and you better do what your king says, or
right.
you ain't gonna be doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because you'll be dead.
Right.
So the Lord brought against them the army commanders of the king of Assyria, who took Manasseh prisoner, put a hook in his nose, bound him with bronze shackles, and took him to Babylon.
Wait, he reigned for 55 years, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'm listening.
In his distress, he sought the favor of the Lord his God and humbled himself greatly before the God of his ancestors.
Oh, wasn't this the Exodus? Like, wasn't this the part where they took them to Babylon? Like, this is the Babylonian king that conquered them, basically, right?
Sure.
They're making it sound a little less terrible in this one than they did in the last one.
I mean, it is the chronicler.
Right.
He is quite the liar.
Yeah.
And when he prayed to him, the Lord was moved by his entreaty and listened to his plea.
Of course he was.
So he brought him back to Jerusalem and to his kingdom. Then Manasseh knew that the Lord is God.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So now he's going to do good?
Okay.
Maybe.
I bet not, though.
Right.
Afterward, he rebuilt the outer wall of the city of David, west of the Gihon Spring in the valley, as far as the entrance of the Fish Gate, and encircling the hill of Ophel. He also made it much higher. He stationed military commanders in all the fortified cities in Judah. He got rid of the foreign gods and removed the image from the temple of the Lord, as well as all the altars he had built on the temple hill and in Jerusalem.
So this wasn't the Babylonian conquering thing.
I have no idea.
They just took him prisoner for a bit, I guess.
For a minute.
He was like, yo, God, help.
Sorry. And he threw them out of the city. Okay. All the things.
Yeah.
Then he restored the altar of the Lord and sacrificed fellowship offerings and thank offerings on it.
What the fuck's a fellowship offering? I haven't heard that before.
I don't know.
That's a new offering.
Maybe they chop off toenails.
Oh, okay.
Of their friends.
Sure.
Fellowship.
Yeah, I don't know.
And told Judah to serve the Lord, the God of Israel.
Yeah, Judah, you do that thing that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And not the other thing that I wasn't supposed to do.
Remember that thing just then when I was bad and I led you this way? I was just kidding. Go back the other way.
Yeah.
The people, however, continued to sacrifice at the high places, but only to the Lord their God. I mean, to be fair, they're like confused.
Yeah, they're like, wait, you just said you built these things, man. We're just using them.
I'm just trying to grow my sheep and sow my potatoes.
Right.
You know, I'm just trying, I don't, whatever. Lord God, whatever. You know? The other events of Manasseh's reign, including his prayer to his God and the words the seer spoke to him in the name of the Lord, the God of Israel, are written in the annals of the kings of Israel.
Huh. Okay.
Look at that. Look at that.
They fixed it.
They did.
It. Yeah.
His prayer and how God was moved by his entreaty, as well as all his sins and unfaithfulness, and the sites where he built high places and set up Asherah poles and idols before he humbled himself, all these are written in the records of the seers. Manasseh rested with his ancestors and was buried in his palace. And Amon, his son, succeeded him as king.
Wait, he was buried in his palace? So he wasn't buried in the the place where the rest of the kings were buried. He was buried in the palace. That's interesting.
I have questions about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but like it didn't say that they definitely stipulated it differently in previous chapters as to where people were buried.
He rested with his ancestors and was buried in his palace.
Right. Okay. So is the palace like okay?
It often, remember I told you, often it'll say they were buried in the palace or they were buried in their home, and it means that they were buried underneath in the crypt beneath where they lived.
Okay. All right.
And so that might actually be where all the other kings were buried.
All right, fair enough.
So I'm not making an argument that he got to be buried with the other kings. I'm just saying I don't know one way or the other.
It's interesting.
He might very well
like if this
been.
is the same writer, it's an interesting
turn of phrase.
Yeah. Right.
No, I totally agree with you.
Just curious.
There's no way to know whether he was buried with his king or not based on this phrasing.
Right.
I don't think I even phrased what I just said correctly.
You didn't say it correctly, no.
So,
but I know what you meant.
And hopefully listeners did too. I'm an idiot! Okay. So his son Amon was 22 years old when he became king. And he reigned in Jerusalem 2 years. And in that 2 years, guess what?
Didn't do what was pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. Huh?
He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, as his father Manasseh had done.
But he got to reign 55 years.
Yeah. And, Manasseh had a chance to apologize.
Yeah.
Be like, my bad.
Yeah, that's true.
But he had to get kidnapped first and had a thing. Yeah. Amon worshipped and offered sacrifices to all the idols Manasseh had made.
Yeah.
But, unlike his father Manasseh, he did not humble himself before the Lord. Amon increased his guilt.
I mean, to be fair, he only gave him 2 years.
Yeah, and other dude, Manasseh, he got invaded.
Right.
Like, he literally had an opportunity to humble himself. I didn't see you
give this guy an opportunity exactly.
Right.
You just basically let him rule 2 years and then he's done.
Yeah. Amon's officials conspired against him and assassinated him in his palace.
It just sounds like he was an asshole of a king, that's all.
He was just a bad king and his people hated him. It has nothing to do with
God.
Yeah.
He's just a dick.
Yep.
Whatever. Kings are dicks sometimes, you know? That's what happens when you have kings.
They're usually dicks, if we're being honest.
Right.
Then the people of the land killed all who had plotted against King Amon, and they made Josiah his son king in his place. The end. Okay.
So the people were like, no, fuck no, you can't kill our king.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to kill you. And then they're like, and now his son's king. And then we'll see if he's good or bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's yet to be determined. But we don't like you killing the king.
And we'll pray whichever way he tells us to.
Yeah, you just leave our kings alone, guys.
Yeah, we like this. He's going to lead to Jesus someday, don't you know? We got to have our kings in here.
Yeah, that.
Whatever.
Okay, so anyway, that was 2 Chronicles chapter 33.
Sure as fuck was.
And tomorrow we'll be back with...
we will be back with 2 chapters. No, we won't.
We won't. That's on Friday. Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, yeah, nothing to see here.
So tomorrow we will be back with 2 Chronicles chapter 34.
Yeah.
And then on Friday we'll be doing chapters 35 and then chapter 36.
Right, to wrap up the book.
Finish up 2 Chronicles.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys tomorrow and then again on Friday and then again on Friday.
And again.
Right. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.